Afternoon, ladies from the East Coast. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to get on here because my head's about to explode. I'm so excited. The subject of this video, as you just saw, is anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything. Why is anything possible? Because this girl in the middle of New Hampshire in her office wearing her bathrobe just got off the phone with Jack Canfield. Imagine me. If somebody told me 5 years ago, oh my God, even a year ago, that I would be chatting it up with Jack Canfield, getting ready to spend a day with him and a bunch of my clients, rubbing shoulders, answering questions, even doing one-on-one work, I would have laughed in their faces. International best-selling author, actually in the Guinness World Book of Records for holding the most number of New York Times bestsellers simultaneously. America's #1 success coach. The guy is a legend. He's a legend. And I just got off the phone with him. And what did we talk about? We talked about the event that I'm going to be having next weekend. And then we started shooting the shit. Like, about my son going to college and where his son's going to college now, and New England and December weather, and it was mind-bending. So, what's my point? Obviously, yeah, Jack's coming. I'm really excited. Who the hell wouldn't be? Let's take it a step further. What are you thinking about doing that there's no realm of possibility for yet in your brain? What is there an inkling or a dream of that you tell yourself isn't possible, will never happen? People like you don't get to experience that. What stories are you telling yourself to limit your life? You gotta dig them up. And then I want you to burn the fuckers, because I'm freaking out right now. I am totally freaking out right now. Whatever it is that you're after, if you pursue it fiercely, if you're passionate about it, if you believe that you want it, then you can fucking have it. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it. No kidding, Jessamine. That's cool. Yeah, I just got off the phone with Jack Canfield. I just got off the phone with Jack Canfield. Ah! Oh my God! What planet is this? What universe? What life is this? It's unbelievable. For those of you who don't know me, I'll give you just a little bit of an inkling of my background. Somebody asked me to tell my story again the other day, and I feel like it's all I talk about. But yeah, oh my God, is right. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it again. 5 years ago, I was sitting in this chair. See this chair? See how beat up it is and torn up? I refuse to get rid of it because it's sentimental to me. I've made a lot of money sitting in this chair. Anyway, it's beat to hell. The cats have clawed the crap out of the leather. I'm not going to give it up because I was sitting in this chair 5 years ago, and I had this idea that I was going to have an online business. And my husband at the time, thank you, Adele, my husband at the time was desperate for me to go and get a job like normal people, but I had two things that were working against me, and they were in my head. And the first was panic disorder, paralyzing, almost agoraphobia, okay? And the second thing that I had going on that I didn't know about at the time was that my adrenal glands no longer produce cortisol. So what does that mean? It means I'm exhausted all the time. Or I was. It's managed now. But I had those two competing things going on, and I needed to find a way to work from home and to help support the family, right? There were 2 kids. Fuck being normal, amen. Normal is for losers. Normal is for boring people. So I had this idea. I was just going to give this a shot. And so I actually was speaking with a colleague that I used to work with at the paper, because I was a reporter and an editor for many years. Yeah, panic disorder blows. And he said, this was 9 years ago, he said, I'm going to start a blog. And I said, what's a blog? Right? And so he told me about it. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I might try that. It'll give me something to do while I'm at home trying to collect my thoughts and figure out what I want to do with my life, because sitting on the couch feeling sorry for myself and having panic disorder is just no fun, right? So I started a blog, and I was so petrified to put myself on the internet that I used a pseudonym, which was Thinking Too Hard. That was my blog. And I used a fake image, just some random black and white image I found online of a woman with dark hair who maybe kind of looked like me but didn't. It was just a placeholder. And I started blogging. But what I did do, truthfully, was I used a bio that it defined who I was. I talked about that I used to be a reporter and an editor for many years. I talked about anxiety. I talked about panic disorder. I talked about this sense of getting back in touch with who I am and what I wanted, and I really revealed myself on that blog every single day. And two things happened as a consequence of that. The first thing that happened was that it was a very popular blog. I had a lot of followers. I had a shit ton of comments every day. I got a lot of feedback and a lot of emails almost immediately. I didn't know that that wasn't the norm, by the way. I just was doing my thing. The second thing that happened was other bloggers who were participating in my blog, commenting and reading, etc., took notice that I was a former editor and reporter and liked the way that I wrote and started asking me for help with their writing. And so I said, yeah, I can do that. I can do that shit with my eyes closed and it'll give me something to do. So I just started giving them tips and pointers. And then I started blogging about what makes writing better in general. And, you know, the little tips and tricks that I picked up during my years in newspapers. And that became eventually, and it was a few years, a writing coaching business where I then was helping people to find the motivation, the inner grit and gut, and very much the bravery, because writing is not for the faint of heart, to finish their novels, to tell their stories. I started editing manuscripts. And it became a six-figure business over the years. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? So that worked out really well for me, right? But it started in this chair. It started in this chair with me having horrible anxiety and panic attacks to the point where I would have to go upstairs in my bed and curl up in a ball and wait for it to pass because I was afraid I was going to pass out or vomit. That's how bad it was. It's a hormonal imbalance is all it was, and they've since figured it out. But at the time, they had no fucking clue what was going on. Becky's, got issues. And by the way, if you are a middle-aged woman and you have a vague sense of something being wrong, 9 times out of 10, your doctor is going to tell you that you need a shrink and medication rather than actually look at, what the medical issue is. But that's a whole side note. Anyway, I started doing this writing coaching business, and this went on for a few years, and I built up to 6 figures, and everything was going great. Oh my God, Alicia, I'm so excited for you. She just hit 6 figures this month in her writing coaching business. Yeah, girl, you go. Okay, so I have a ton of clients at this point. I'm editing manuscripts like crazy. I am coaching people to finish their books. People know me in the industry. And, it's been probably 5 years I was at that point. And I was really fucking tired. Again, really feeling the burn. And started to reevaluate what I was doing, who I was serving. Who was I really meant to serve? Who were the writers I really enjoyed working with? Who took it seriously? Who didn't? I knew I wasn't charging enough because I was making 6 figures, but it was coming out of my hide, man. I was fucking beat. And it all came back to my reporting days. I worked 80 hours a week as a reporter for peanuts because that's what you do. It's, it's a lifestyle, and I fucking loved it. And if I didn't get panic disorder and have this cortisol deficiency, I would still be a reporter. So I should probably thank my body that I'm not. But it, the same pattern repeated. Becky's back up to doing 80 hours a week. Becky's exhausted, and this isn't sustainable. So I tore the whole thing down. And when I came back, restructured, I was still a writing coach, still an editor. Oh, you're welcome, Alicia. I'm really happy for you. I knew you could do it. When I came back, after I restructured the business, I came back, at one point, beforehand, I was charging like $4.29 a month, and they got 4 one-on-one, 1-hour calls, plus unlimited editing. That's just crazy talk. Anybody who's ever edited will tell you it's a shit ton of work, and that's way too cheap. But when I came back with, you want me? It's 90 days of one-on-one. The fee's $5,500. You want me to edit your manuscript? It's 10 cents a word. And I went forward from there. And yeah, I lost a lot of clients because they didn't value my unique service or my brain. What they valued was that I was cheap, and they just wanted to push out a knockoff book, or, you know, they figured any schmo can edit it. And so my response was, you're right, any schmo can edit. Go hire them instead. If you want me, you get a premium service at a premium rate. And so that's what propelled the business up to 6 figures, ultimately. It is a ton of work, Alicia, I know. As a consequence of doing that, and it's telling me I have a weak connection, so let me know. As a consequence of doing that, I started to notice other people, other women, colleagues, acquaintances, who could make some pretty simple shifts in their business and do the same thing for themselves, meaning working a whole lot less and earning a whole lot more, only serving the people who truly valued them, having the ability to give those handful of clients their absolute best work, which is what they're paying for, rather than serving a crap ton of them and putting out what's mediocre, because that's no good. And so I was playing with this idea of, do I want to start business coaching? I've been at this for a while. You know, what do I tell my writing coaching clients, especially after I just came back with all this? How do I do this gracefully? Am I going to be any good at it? And all the self-doubt came up. All right, Jennifer, I'll see you later. So what I decided to do, with the help of the few coaches I was working with at the time, hat tip to Hillary Rubin, by the way, she was one of them, I decided that I was going to start playing with this concept and maybe just reach out privately to a couple of people who I knew I could probably help. And so what I did was I contacted them privately via Messenger, and I just said, hey, look, I'm thinking about shifting away from writing coaching, which everybody told me was stupid and it would be suicide because I was known as the premier writing coach, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, but I'm just not loving it anymore. And this thing won't leave me alone. I've got this pull to try this. So I reached out to these people and I said, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be any good at it. So I'm not going to charge you. But thank you. Thank you, Lily. I love you. So what I said was, I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I'm not going to charge you. But I think what I'd like to do, if your game, is just get on the phone for an hour. Let's take a look at what you're doing, what you're charging, what you love, how you figured out your rates, and your packages and all that stuff. And if you find that my advice or guidance is helpful to you, if you get a result, I would just really like a testimonial. Because, again, never done business coaching before. I don't know if I'm any good. And I contacted 4 or 5 people, I think. And all free. Did them all. And they got massive results. And I mean massive. One lady made $9,000 in 24 hours. One woman made $2,500 30 minutes after I got off the phone with her for something that she was going to charge a client like $200 for. It was about their mindset, their ability or willingness to value themselves, their general notion of self-worth. It was about working through self-doubt, but it was also very much about presentation. And so that gave birth to what is today RebeccaTDickson.com, which leads me back to my torn up chair, see that, from my cats, which I refuse to get rid of because this is the chair I was in, having panic attacks, terrified of just about everything, not sure how I was going to feed my kids, getting pressure from my husband at the time, to go and get a job, and I couldn't even leave the fucking house, right? That's how it started. And where did it get me? Today, write down the date, today, just before I started this live stream, I just got off the phone with Jack Canfield. Think about that. So yeah, if somebody told me all those years ago that someday I'd be sitting in the same chair, in my same office, shooting the shit with Jack Canfield about the private event that I am hosting for him at the Four Seasons Hotel in Boston with 9 of my clients, I would have laughed in their faces. You love the chair, Alicia? I won't get rid of it. But that's the kind of shit that's possible for you. Because I'll tell you straight up, there is nothing special about me. Not a thing. I can't even sit here with a straight face and say to you, it happened because I wasn't afraid. Because I was afraid. I'm afraid every fucking day. The difference is, I don't let fear stop me. I just do it anyway. Fear is your friend, right? It can serve as a guide in your life. It can serve as your worst nightmare. It depends on how you interpret that energy and how you choose to respond. And that is always about your inner game. What do you believe is true for you? What do you believe is possible for you? I did not have the purview, the expansion of my mind those many years ago to say, yeah, someday you're going to have a conversation with him and then you're going to have a sit down and do one-on-one work with him. I never would have believed that. It was absolutely a progression, and I had to go through the things that I went through in order to get here now. Understood, right? It is inner game. But the fact of the matter is, I had a choice. I could have just started popping pills, given in to my anxiety, let my world continue to shrink, end up on welfare or homeless. But I didn't. I didn't do that. I'm just not made that way. The bottom line is, I kept going. They were small steps most of the time. They really, truly were. Did I have some big leaps in that time? Absolutely. Did I have some big, scary fucking leaps where everybody said, you're out of your mind, you can't do that, and I did it anyway? Absolutely. But that's what a boss does. Fear does not have to lead you. Again, use it as a guide. I'm always afraid right before I do something that uplevels my life, business, and everything else. Amen, baby. Amen. That's how it is. And the bigger the fear, the higher you're going to rise. That's a promise. So, the thing you're thinking about doing, the thing that you're sure you can't do but would love to happen, reassess that. Go back and decide if you're really certain that it can't happen, because I guarantee you it can. If I can have this chat with Jack Canfield and then have a sit down and do some one-on-one work with him and my clients, if that can happen for me, if I can go from literally poverty-stricken, scraping change from the sofas to multiple 7 figures in less than 2 years, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's up to you how far you want to go. It's up to you what steps you want to take. It's up to you when you want to buckle down and continue, or when you want to throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm a victim of my circumstance, I can't go any further. You get to decide that. Thanks, Lily. Stacy's here too. Hi. So that's my lesson today. I'm hanging in my crappy, destroyed up leather chair that my cats have torn up. There it is again. See that? I will have this chair forever. In my bathrobe, in the backwoods of New Hampshire, shooting the shit with Jack Canfield. If I can do that, I promise you, you can do what you're after. Not a doubt in my mind. Please stop telling yourself you can't. Please stop saying you don't know how. You may not know how. That's okay. You can go find out. You can ask for help. You can get guidance. And you know what? There's more information online available right now for free than there has ever been before in the history of the world. It's just a matter of absorbing it all and then organizing it. Don't tell me you don't have the money. Don't tell me you can't afford it. You will find a way if you want to. So much yes. Yay! Yeah, it's a banner day. And look, this is another point. You want to talk about fear? This is another point. I'm sitting here in my crappy little chair in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire, and I'm dialing the phone to call Jack, and I'm literally shaking. I'm shaking. I'm not going to stop. What, you think I'm not going to show up for that call? That's an example of fear doesn't have to stop you. Turn that fear to excitement. I'm not anxious, I'm excited. Or, yeah, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's not going to stop me. You can have whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you want, babe. You want a palace? Start working toward it. You want to live in a mansion in Hollywood Hills? Believe you can have it. Do you visualize? Do you meditate? Do you journal? Do you have a gratitude practice? What do you do on your own behalf every single day to change the way that you think, to change your inner game? Anybody that works with me will tell you that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. Because you get what you expect. Progression? Absolutely. Possible? No question. And that's it. That's all I got for you tonight. My husband is now home from hunting. Thankfully, he did not shoot anything because I hate that. But I'm going to have dinner with him and celebrate talking to Jack fucking Canfield. Holy shit. Can you believe that? Oh, and if you guys want to join us, I got 1 slot left. Just message me. Bye. Happy weekend.